let's start with a little exercise. Go online and check for the price of an OLED TV. Exactly, they are not cheap, and it's one of the main reasons why I've struggled to try one out. They are so crazy expensive. On phones, OLED is the gold standard, but on TVs, there are a few problems, like the case of burn-in, which you don't really deal with on phones because of tricks like pixel shifting, and also because the average consumer doesn't hold on to a phone for 7 to 8 years like the owner of a TV will. For those prices, might as well just get an LCD until the technology matures, right? Well, what happens when a company undercuts the competition so well with the price of their OLED that it even makes you question if you would rather get this over an LED LCD? This is the 65-inch VIZIO OLED, matched with their latest Elevate soundbar. A total package that is not really what I'd call affordable unless you try to compare the setup with what it would cost you from any other brand. VIZIO is mostly known for their affordable TVs, so the biggest question is, how well can they handle the big leagues? I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and let's dive in. I guess the first question should be, why buy an OLED? And the easiest answer is to actually respond with another question. Do you like the screen on your smartphone? Most smartphones today have evolved almost exclusively to OLED technology, even if it's a tad more expensive. It offers the benefits of incredible contrast ratios, the deepest black color reproduction you can ask for, since the pixels actually turn off, and also colors are crazy good. Power efficiencies are still debatable, but the technology is so thin that it allows for the bezel-less and thin frenzy we've seen in current times. So imagine all of those principles applied to a TV. It actually led to one of the most insane unboxing experiences that I've ever had with one. To start, the box is a lot bigger than what you're getting, and it's for a reason. Get some help doing this, as you should not hold this TV by the corners. The TV even comes with a cardboard screen protector reminding you of this repeatedly, and then you spend a great deal of time removing plastic around plastic around plastic. Guys, the TV even comes with a screen protector like any phone that I also recommend that you remove to avoid any glare or reflection. I think one of the coolest parts about going OLED is that this TV actually looks like if it's from the future. Thickness on this panel is measured in millimeters, not in inches, though it does get thicker at the bottom because you need to fit the speakers and the ports somewhere. I mean, even the branding is only found at the back, and then there are a ton of cool tricks to hide the I/O. This TV has 4 HDMI 2.1 ports for the latest gaming experiences, 1 USB port, optical audio out, which I use for the soundbar, your typical standard audio out, and it supports Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, like you name it, this TV has got it. Once you set up your ports, you can hide them on the inner covers, and these close everything up so nothing can be shown from behind, though I don't recommend that you do this if you plan to mount this TV on the wall. The second is just the viewing experience. There's no talk about local dimming or any of that here. OLED is simple. Black means pixels turn off. So if you're in a dark scenario, you won't have to deal with any sort of black light bleed anywhere. Color is about individual pixels, and I also have to praise VIZIO for their color calibration. Usually OLEDs tend to oversaturate content, and yet this one manages to provide inky accurate colors with contrast that's as good as it gets, and really the only place where you might have something to complain about is when the TV reproduces any color in between black and full color, as I find it to be a bit too dark for my taste. You can tweak these settings in case you'd prefer more brightness, and sure, there's also support for HDR10 and even Dolby Vision to help out with that if you have the content. I also have to praise VIZIO for how their design language actually talks with the rest of their products, which is seriously how everything should be. If you notice the base of this TV, the Elevate soundbar actually fits snug below it. So honestly, my advice is that you don't really experiment with any other brand of soundbars if you plan to get this TV. That said, for its price, this would actually be the first TV where I would recommend that you actually get a soundbar. Audio quality is not great, I'd call it flat at most. And I think it might have to do with the speakers firing to the back instead of down like most other TVs at its price range. This is not to say that it's bad, but I'd call it this TV's weakest point. My experience with the Elevate soundbar was so good that I actually had to disconnect the woofer. I live in a second floor with hardwood floors. The neighbors actually complained. It's an 8-inch driver. The sound is just insane. If you don't have any of these problems, it is the coolest thing to be able to place the woofer wherever you want because it's wireless, connect the 2 surround speakers, and then just let Dolby Atmos do the talking. It's crazy good. That said, the way it elevates to enhance content depends on the content supporting it. This soundbar is definitely an A+ recommendation. Even if you don't get this TV, you have to try it. It's probably the best one that I've ever tested. As for the rest of the experience, I'm going to call it great and okay. We already discussed image quality and sound quality, but the thing that I wish that VIZIO did a little better, and just slightly better, is scaling. Like most modern 4K TVs, there's an iQ processor built in to handle this, and it's okay, but I wouldn't call it my favorite. I've seen TVs in the hundreds of dollars category doing slightly better in handling moire, detail, and even pixelation, which is usually a result of how the TV handles motion. This one is actually capable of 120 Hz, which does fantastic with native content, but which can fumble every now and then with streaming. It's honestly kind of odd. It might need probably a software update because there are cases when you connect something like a 1080p Nintendo Switch where it scales it as well as every other high-end TV that I've tested. Again, I wouldn't call this my favorite TV for gaming and complex scenarios, but it's not bad by any means. I mean, you won't even notice any issues with legacy consoles or even the Switch. Now, another thing where I'm slightly mixed with this TV is the user interface. I definitely have to praise that it supports both Google Casting and Apple's AirPlay 2. I'm also going to praise the broad selection of applications and the fact that you can use this TV as an Apple TV, which can also serve for HomeKit and save you a few extra bucks. Really, where I'm mixed is in this whole approach of yanking you out of your content if you want to switch from one service to the next. And I get it, only Samsung and LG TVs that are far more expensive don't do this, so oh well. The remote is what I'd call the essence of minimalism, by the way. It's got a few shortcuts at the top, navigation controls in the middle, and some very small number buttons below since a lot of people are cutting the cord. The problem is that there is no voice activation. You'll actually have to connect a smart speaker to it if you want to achieve that functionality, which is actually fairly easy. And then as for the elephant in the room, the question you've been wanting for me to answer. Can you get burn-in with this TV? The short answer is you can. The long answer is it really depends, and it's actually not easy to achieve. VIZIO has implemented the typical pixel shifting approach that smartphone OEMs provide, which is great, but has not proven to be entirely perfect if you ask any Uber driver how the screen on their phone is after using Google Maps all day for a couple of years. As an alternative, if you notice that your TV goes blank just out of the blue because you didn't touch the control at any point in the home menu, don't worry, it's perfectly fine. That's just one of the measures that the TV has to avoid any extra exposure that's unnecessary. I honestly will take that functionality for the price just to protect my investment. I think it's okay. It's just really aggressive about it. Now, where I say that it depends is if you're a heavy sports watcher, gamer, or news watcher, where tickers are permanent during the content play. Sadly, these elements might actually beat this TV in leaving content burned in over time. To conclude, let's do the exercise again. Go back online and check what it costs for you to buy a 55 or 65-inch OLED from any other company that's not VIZIO. I mean, hey, if you're able to buy an LG or a Sony OLED, then this TV is definitely not for you. But then if you're an average consumer looking to try an OLED, you demand color accuracy and great contrast, you want a great user experience that supports Google and Apple services, you want to try something new as an alternative to LED LCDs in the market, then this TV is for you. VIZIO 65-inch OLED is what I'd like to call the best OLED for the rest of us, which is actually most people. It won't break the bank, it'll deliver the image quality you'd expect for the price, and it's a great introduction into what life with an OLED is like so far. It's not perfect, but the price is so crazy good I have no problem in recommending it. And also that VIZIO Elevate soundbar, yeah, I would recommend you get that thing with or without this TV. Let us know what you think about VIZIO 65-inch OLED in the comments down below, and while you're at it, follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Also follow me on my personal handles to see me try OLEDs and really like them. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.